It's time for the top five segment, man. Oh my goodness. We wrap our brains around the concept of the top five every single week, and we always try to figure it out. Well, with the success of the box office so far this past weekend, we want to talk about the best films that we've seen in 2025 so far. Some of them not the box office. I might have cheated a little bit with 2025, but I watched it in 2025 but it's okay. It's just
Yeah,
one.
I was
Just
going to
one
say,
cheat.
one of them on there is like a 2024, but we'll go with it.
Listen, it's one cheat. I'm still thinking about it because there's current day events that are
And it
happening right
saw a
now.
big surge because of the passing of the Pope, so I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
It did. It did. I thought it was definitely worth the mention. But yes, a lot of good things, man. A lot of good things. So my number five goes to Conclave, my cheat of the top five list. I mean, it came out in 2024, the end of the year, but I still watched it in 2025, preparing for the Oscars because so many things from that film got nominated at the Academy Awards. And with Pope Francis dying, and there about to be another conclave, there's like 14 days of rest, prayer, all of spiritual awakenings, praying for, figuring out who's going to be the next pope before the actual conclave where all the cardinals come together and pick a new pope. It's very political, if you guys did not know
Very
about it.
political,
I've
yeah.
been following this whole thing on TikTok right now. That is all my feed is filled up with. So that's all I've always been thinking about this film these last couple days, and some of the guys who they think are like front runners to become the pope, I swear to you, look exactly like the cast member of Conclave.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild.
It really, well, and here's the thing. I think that it saw the big surge because everybody's interested in how the conclave works, right?
Yeah.
Guys, that's a little bit fictional. Like, it's not
Yeah.
that political, but it is very, and I can say this, that the majority of the time over the past, at least in our lifetimes, the front runner has never been the one who gets it.
Never.
Ever. Like, Pope Francis wasn't even in the conversation. Like, and then there he was. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And by the way, that waiting period is new. Francis actually extended the wait period after they die to when they start the conclave. He extended that period. So, that's all kind of new. It used to be almost immediate after the death. They would go into the rooms and start doing it. So, that's very interesting. Yeah. I just, it's interesting. It's a good film. It's a great film. But just keep in mind that Hollywood does fictionalize some things. So don't think that that's how it's legitimately going down. Close, but not all. That's all I'm saying. I just want to get that clear. All right, my number five. And I was caught off guard on this one. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm pulling this up because I want to make sure I get the name correct. Okay. My number five is Den of Thieves 2, Pantera. Now, I'll be honest with you. Den of Thieves was one of those ones that kind of like was under the radar. It kind of came and went, and like not a lot of people heard about it. But when I saw Den of Thieves 2, Pantera, I'm like, maybe I should watch Den of Thieves. So I went back and I watched Den of Thieves. It's a good movie. It's nothing groundbreaking by any means, but it was a decent movie. Den of Thieves 2, infinitely better. They took everything that worked, in my opinion, from the first one, put it into the second, and then expanded on it and just really kind of killed it. It was a great film. Now, this one is directed and written by Christian Gudegast, who, if you don't know, is Eric Braeden, our former guest on here, Eric Braeden, the beloved Victor Newman on The Young and the Restless. That's his son. And he's actually been a longtime director and producer and writer in Hollywood. You just don't recognize the name. But he actually did this one, and it stars O'Shea Jackson, who actually carries over from the first one into the second one. And they take it overseas, and it becomes more of a diamond heist film. But yeah, the way they do it, the concept behind it, how if you don't know, Gerard Butler is like the cop from the first one who takes down this organization, and O'Shea does go to prison, but then ends up escaping. I don't want to give too much away, but so now the premise is Gerard Butler's character is a bad guy. He's fed up with the system. He's tired of it. He wants to get rich too, and he joins this gang. and to help him with the diamond heist. And it's a very interesting concept of how it all plays out. So yeah, if you guys haven't checked this one out, I highly recommend it. Watch Den of Thieves first, and then go catch Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. And I think it'll be worth it for you if you like a good action flick that's got a little bit of drama and some story in it. Yeah, I think it's a good one. Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. My surpriser. I didn't expect to like it, but I did.
Very nice, man. Very nice. It definitely feels like Gerard Butler is falling into the Jason Statham, Liam Neeson
Yeah,
kind of
for sure.
gig where he's very typecast. So it'll be very interesting. But let's say he's very orchestrated in the type of roles that he picks. He knows what'll work, man. He knows what'll work.
Well, but
Um,
it's sad too, though. And just because, and let's quickly do this. But like, what was that comedy that he did with Katherine Heigl? He was hilarious as shit in that
yeah, yeah,
movie,
yeah. I know which one
and
you're
so
talking
he's
about.
a pretty good comedic actor. But you're right, he's getting stereotyped into these bad guy, vicious action hero type stuff, and it's like, give the man a comedy. Shit, let him follow up. Come on.
Exactly, exactly. My number four goes to One of Them Days.
Mm,
This is the one with Kiki Palmer and
yep.
SZA. I believe it's available on Netflix right now. And it was kind of one that did decently well at the box office. No one really knew what it was going to do as far as numbers. And it is an indie film, and it is true black cinema. I loved it from start to finish. It reminded me of a Friday or like the original Scary Movie from
Yeah.
Marlon Wayans. And I just feel like what this film brought to the table is something we haven't honestly seen since the early 2000s. I mean, of course, there's different interpretations of different things, but I think this is going to go down as a cult classic, and I think more people need to watch it because it's a different perspective when it's coming from a woman's voice, a woman's point of view, and I love everything about it. So definitely do yourself a favor and watch One of Them Days. It's honestly hilarious from start to finish.
There you go. I agree with you. One of the again one of those sleepers that nobody thought would do anything, but then did. My number four is the opposite of that. My number four, I'm gonna go on record and say I think it'll be another Den of Thieves where it's gonna do far better after it's seen elsewhere. I'm talking about Novocaine with Jack Quaid. This thing was phenomenal. This was a really interesting original story about a guy who could feel no pain and basically takes on the mantle of trying to help people because he can't feel pain. The kicker is he can die though. He can't feel pain, but he can still die. So he does all this heroic stuff, and let's just say it's pretty comedic in the sense that he thinks he's a hero that is not aware of or not thinking about that just because he can't feel the pain, he can actually get himself hurt. This was a victim of lack of advertising, lack of marketing, opening against bigger movies, and not getting on a lot of screens. And that's a shame because it is actually a really great, entertaining film. Quaid kills in it. The whole cast does. And it's actually really well written. It's a really fun script that you don't think, and it's got some twists and turns in it. But yeah, it's sad. So find this thing, watch it, because you'll be glad that you did. If you missed it in the theaters, don't feel bad. A lot of people did. But check this one out because Jack Quaid deserves for you to watch this one. That's all I'm going to say. He's a phenomenal young actor who's really making his way, and sometimes he gets in these things that nobody sees, and that's unfortunate because this is one that you should watch. My number four, Novocaine.
Completely agree. I know it's still on the watch list. I really want to see this one and The Amateur
Yeah.
with Rami Malek.
Yep.
It's very Mr. Robot-esque, it looks like.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see that. Number three for me goes to the box office freaking splash explosion from last weekend, Sinners. Now you're probably like, what? Well, this is so low on the list. I promise you I
That's what I
have
said.
that's other good ones on there. Okay, give it two more picks. But Sinners, I love this film. At first, I there was some things that taken me back, like for how long the story goes at the very beginning until we get to the vampires, because it's billed as this vampire sci-fi type of flick. But what it's really doing is telling a story and telling a message and starting conversations with different people. And I think that's what's amazing about it. Ryan Coogler does not miss, man. And
He
I
does not.
absolutely love the success of this thing because it shows that original stories still have a place at the cinema. That is for sure. What he was able to do with a $90 million budget and make half of it back the first weekend. And I think word of mouth is going to have this thing going and having legs throughout the entire rest of the spring. To be honest with you, I mean, TikTok has been blowing up with this bad boy. There's a few sequences in this film that I was just like, it again taken back, but then the more I think about it, I'm like, I see what he was trying to portray there. I see what he was doing. But I love the film. It definitely sets it up to be a quote unquote franchise. There's a lot of speculation about that, but I don't know if that would actually happen. But yeah, number three for me, Sinners.
There you go. I'll expand on that more because it's on my list as well. My number three, I don't know how people are going to react to this or not react to this, but my number three is a film that I thoroughly enjoyed. I thought it was a good origin flick, if you will, to set up what's coming down the line, including not just for this particular character, but for other characters and groups. I'm talking about Captain America Brave New World, which I thought was a really well done film to set up Anthony Mackie's Captain America. It sets up the Young Avengers, it sets up Thunderbolts, it sets up inevitably the multiverse fiasco in Secret Wars that's coming. It sets up all that, and it does it in a way that was really entertaining, and I liked it. I think this thing could have done a bit better, although it's not a failure, guys. I mean, $200+ million domestically and more than $500 million worldwide. That is a massive success. It is Marvel standards. It's middle of the ground, but still, I think this movie was a victim of that cancel culture where no matter what, we are already bashing Marvel movies and saying that they're failures before they even come out. And it keeps people from going to see them at the box office. I wish we would stop doing that. I wish people would stop. It's a classic example of when something reaches a level of just excellence, we are classic at tearing them down after we build them up. That's what's happened to the Marvel Universe, I think. Because if you look, this film, the new Daredevil series, it looks like apparently Thunderbolts. It is back to what we expect from this universe and these actors and these characters, and yet people are still out there trying to tear it down. And the reason I'm saying that is watch Captain America Brave New World. It is a really good film. It is along the lines of Captain America Winter Soldier in the sense that it's more of a political thriller than it is an action movie, although it is filled with action. But it's story driven and it sets up where the Avengers are going, where the Young Avengers are going, how Captain America and Falcon and these group of people will play into what happens coming up. It's done really well. And I think Mackie had a lot of pressure on him and a lot of, just angst and turmoil on top of his shoulders to try to deliver. And I think he did. And I think it was unwarranted, some of the criticism that this film got. So my number three, Captain America Brave New World. Watch it. I bet you'll like it. That's all I'm saying. I bet you'll like it.
Yeah, I compare it to Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
I think it's right around the same, where it's entertaining, it's fun. Yes, there's things wrong with it, but no film is perfect.
No.
But it's definitely better than the Eternals, but it's not as good as I it's definitely better than Thor Love and Thunder too. So I mean, it like you said, very middle of the road, but definitely not one of the favorites.
But it's an origin film. Like if you look back and you look, with the exception of the first Iron Man, because that one's the exception to the rule. But the first Captain America movie, the first Hulk movie, all the origin ones are just kind of subpar, middle of the road. They're good, but they're not like great, right? And this was his origin movie. So I feel like it's just on par with what it was.
Yeah, to be honest, I completely agree. I don't think it holds as much rewatch value for me as like an Iron Man 1. But yeah, like you said, very middle of the road, and it definitely wasn't the worst thing. It wasn't a Snow White.
Yeah.
So let's put that out there. Number two for me goes to an Apple TV Plus original, The Gorge, with Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Johnson. I really enjoyed this freaking thing. to be on or Anya Taylor-Joy, sorry.
There you go.
I really enjoyed this film. I think it's like sci-fi slash zombie slash possible event aftermath of events of war and Hiroshima and the bombing and like all that stuff. So it was very interesting. I think why I hold it at such a high spot on my list is because I love the dynamic between those two actors. I think their chemistry was the best thing of the entire movie. Yes, there was action. Yes, there was a good story. It was entertaining. It was paced well, but I think the relationship and the chemistry that those two had, I think that's why I put it so high for me. I just thought it was so fun. So yeah, number 2 for me, The Gorge.
There you go. And that plays perfectly into my number 2 because it's the chemistry between the two characters that you would think, wait, what? But trust me, my number 2 is The Accountant 2. I have a little theme here. It's like with my Den of Thieves and Novocaine and stuff. But The Accountant was another one that kind of came and went. And not a lot of people heard about it, but then started catching it once it hit streamers. And they're like, wait a minute, there's a Ben Affleck film called what? And it's about, but if you really liked The Accountant, you're going to love The Accountant too. It just takes it to a whole new level. As you guys know, I make no secret about it. I'm a huge Jon Bernthal fan. And while he is in the first one, it's brief. It's towards the very end. You just find out about the dynamic between him and his brother, and there's not a whole lot. This one expands on it wholeheartedly. Think about your favorite buddy films. Any of them. Lethal Weapon, 48 Hours, just any of your great buddy, bro films. That's what this one is now. Bernthal's throughout the whole thing. It isn't just little cameo things. It's about two brothers together taking on what, I'm not going to give too much away because there is a little kind of a twist to the plot thing, but it's a story about two brothers who are finding themselves again. That's how I look at it. That's what really drew me to it. And the dynamic between Bernthal and Affleck is there's this line dancing scene in there where it's worth it alone. And I don't know if you guys have been watching the press on this thing, but Bernthal just seems so relaxed and funny and more joy. He's always usually so intense in interviews, and he's like that Bernthal that we all expect. But he's laughing and giggling, having a good time. He's poking fun at Matt Damon. And that's coming heavily from the dynamic of this film and how they are together in the film. I love it. I absolutely love it. I hope we get another one. That's all I'm going to say. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. This does have rewatch value. I would see this one again. And like I said, it's worth it. Forget all the action. Forget the storyline that's going on because it is a very cool storyline and it does weave in the first one, kind of sets up another one, and there's some twists or turns. But for me, it was the dynamic between the two of them as brothers, and we finally got to see that on full display where we didn't get to see that in the first one. So, yeah, The Accountant 2. Worth the ride, my friends. Go see that one.
Yeah, most definitely. I saw the trailer for it when I went to go see Sinners, and it looked freaking phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen the first one, so I would definitely want to go back and watch the first one and then watch this one. Like, yeah, it looks really freaking good. That's for sure. Number 1 for me goes to Warfare. Oh my goodness, guys. This one is absolutely phenomenal. The closest to a 5 out of 5 that I've given to a movie on Letterboxd so far this year. I just love it. It's an A24 film. Alex Garland comes back after, of course, Civil War that he did
Yep.
with A24. He comes back, co-directs, co-writes this thing with a military guy who actually experienced the events that this film is about, which is absolutely wild. It's a beautiful story about just guys surviving and trying to make it out of this mission. I love it too because there's no main character. You don't get any backstory. Well, at least not a lot of backstory, I should say, on a lot of these characters. It just is like, boom, this is the situation. This is the mission. This is why we need to get out. And it's an amazing freaking thing. Like the first 45 minutes sets it up so well. And then when the fighting happens, like you're anxious the entire rest of the time. Like what this cinematographer was able to do with the story and this a 2-story apartment and with all of these characters It's a beautiful thing too, because this film was made for a man who was injured on this mission, who couldn't remember how he was injured. And of course, the co-director, being a part of that mission, wanted to make this for his friend so he could show him the events of that day. And it's just such an amazing film. And
Mm.
anybody who is up and coming in Hollywood is basically in this thing. The lead star from the Reservoir Dogs, are, I think that's what it's called, that FX show that was about
Yeah.
Native American teenagers. And then you have Will Poulter, who's freaking absolutely amazing, killing it. Adam Warlock, freaking in The Bear, We Are the Millers. And then you have Joseph Quinn. You have Gandolfini. I mean, it's an amazing freaking cast throughout this entire thing. There's even this part. This doesn't give anything away. Gandolfini is going to go give morphine to the guy who got injured, one of the guys that got injured, and he freaking had it upside down and he morphined himself into the freaking finger. Like, it was
Yeah.
kind of a humorous moment in such a anxious, intense situation. It's a great freaking film. It's only an hour and 35 minutes. It's definitely worth the watch. Please go watch Warfare. It's so freaking good.
Yeah, you've sold me on this one. This one is on my watch list. This is one of the ones that I haven't seen yet, and it's definitely one that I'm gonna catch because it sounds amazing, and the way you
Yes.
sell it, it's just fantastic. My number one goes back to what you were talking about on your list, Sinners. For me, this is a filmmaker's film. If you are a filmmaker wanting to be a filmmaker, wanting to be a director, a storyteller, this is a film you need to watch because, as Logan said, Ryan Coogler is a brilliant storyteller. And if you're going to be a great director, you have to be able to tell a story. And Ryan Coogler has yet to not hit with telling a story. You go back and watch his first film, Fruitvale Station, which also has Michael B. Jordan, and you go now, you can see the growth that he has made as a filmmaker without ever wavering of the who he is as a filmmaker. It's like he's very methodical, and these are the stories I want to tell. This is the visual you're going to see when I put a movie together, and yet you can see growth. That's why I really loved Sinners so much. I'm a huge fan of blues music and that type of music and that type of time frame. I love the period piece aspect of it. Love horror movies, obviously. But it's the way he weaves these things together. The infamous crossroads where you sell your soul to the devil, and he brings in the vampires and who the vampires represent. Because as Logan said, there's a message here about where we still are in this country with racism and how people of color are treated, and how he weaves in what the vampires represent in this is very interesting. There's this beautiful scene with cinematography and the way it's done where he merges the current, time frame of that era into current era. And he mixes the music and guides the evolution of black music through that scene seamlessly. It's so good. And then, of course, it's one hell of an entertaining vampire flick. Once they get to the vampire stuff, you're like, holy shit, this is awesome. And by far, and I know Miss Steinfeld has won an Oscar already, right? But this is probably my favorite role I've ever seen her in. I loved her as Kate Bishop. I loved her in True Grit when she won the Oscar. I think she's a brilliant actress, but she nails it in this film. She is just phenomenal. Delroy Lindo steals the film, though. Trust me, when you watch this, you'll see what I'm talking about. Every line that comes out of his mouth is freaking classic. There's so many catch lines that man has. You'll say them forever after you leave the movie. But like I said, I just, between what you've said and kind of like where I've just come from, if you're a filmmaker or a wannabe filmmaker or just love a great story, this film is for you. Trust me, Ryan Coogler delivers. Michael B. Jordan delivers. Steinfeld delivers. Everybody in this cast, just phenomenal. And this is one definitely worth seeing. And go see it in a theater. Don't wait. And see it with a packed crowd. Because the audience's reaction throughout this film made it. Was so worth it for me. It's just so good. It's not family friendly. Just say
Not at all.
there's a couple of sex scenes in there that you definitely do not want to bring the kids to see. I'm not even talking about the vampires not being family friendly. I'm talking about this bow wow. Don't bring the kids. That's all I'm saying. Just don't bring the
That's
kids.
it. That's it. Yes, it's an amazing film. I mean, could literally sit here and talk about it all
Oh
freaking
yeah.
day. But yes, we want to know, what is your favorite film so far in 2025? Be sure to comment down below in the comment section. Add us on Twitter, Instagram, all the places. Please, please, please let us know what your favorite film of 2025 is. And please don't say Minecraft. Please don't say Minecraft. What gamers are doing to movie theaters right now is just absurd, okay? Gamers, stop trashing movie theaters. We are cinephiles. We love our holy place. You're trashing it, okay?
Yes.
Just stop.
That's right.
Please stop, gamers.